Hey leaders, this is the weekend preview video for March 19th and 20th.
It's time to speak up. Let's go!
I don't know what we're yelling about!
We are finishing out our series that we started a couple weeks ago entitled Pretty Gutsy. We have been using Psalm 56, 3-4 to remind us each week to think about Christian courage. And so far, we have laid the groundwork for this conversation by highlighting that Christian courage is not the absence of fear, but trusting God in the presence of fear. And last week, we focused on how we can trust the promises of God and His faithfulness and lean into the voices of the people around us to guide us to be sources of confidence in times of personal struggle and fear. And so this week, we're going to finish that conversation and we're going to move forward by looking at what we're called to do in the midst of that as well. And we get a good example in Psalm 56, verse 4, when we see King David shouting out that promise or that question when he says, "What can mere mortals do to me?" When we speak out, we can proclaim what is ultimately true and to remind our hearts who is really in control, God. All right, let's look at what this will look like in group time this weekend. For the small group activity this weekend, we're going to be doing a Make Some Noise challenge. Now, this challenge is going to look a little bit different than most challenges that we've done before. And instead of doing this activity in small group, we're actually going to be doing this one together as a large group. So here are the highlights that you'll need to know, but I would still encourage you to look over the activity guide. I will lead through the instructions from the front as I explain the activity to the kids. There will be 3 taped square boxes spread throughout the room for each round that we use. So we're going to do 3 rounds total. For each round, kids will have to use their voices to overcome the noise of everyone in the room and try and find out which group they belong to and get in a square that's on the floor with everyone that's speaking out the same thing that they are speaking out. Okay, I know that can sound a little confusing, but to boil it down, here's what your role will look like. Before each round, try to keep your group together. You'll come back together, and you'll hand out the envelopes to the kids that are in your group, so that way they know what they will be speaking out. For rounds 1, everyone in the room will participate, but only for rounds 2 and 3, there will only be a select group of kids that you'll have to choose who will participate. Everyone who isn't participating will sit down and observe the craziness as kids try and shout out what they are trying to communicate and figure out which square their group is going to go to. All right, that's what the activity will look like this weekend.
I totally understand that.
After the activity, we'll break up into our groups and continue the conversation together about what we can do and say when fear or anxiety begins to kick in our lives. And we'll also discuss how we can use our voice to make a difference for ourselves in the middle of those seasons, as well as the people around us, using that promise that God is powerful and bigger than any of the situations that we might experience. So come ready for the classroom huddle 30 minutes prior, and we will discuss Psalm 56, verse 3 and 4 again, with some guided questions that will direct us towards leading our groups, as we help kids find and follow Jesus. All right, I'll see you guys this weekend, and wear your Team Kid shirts. Bye.